What's going on, awesome people? It is Wednesday, April 5th, and I cordially welcome you to another episode of Countdown to Freedom in Iran. As always, it's a pleasure to have you a part of this virtual conversation. If this is your first time joining Countdown, first of all, you've missed 14 incredible episodes thus far with some awesome guests. And so basically, in short, what Countdown is, it is the only weekly English live stream dedicated to what's happening in Iran. We have a wide range of segments from news and updates, courtesy our amazing journalist, Paris Mansouri, who's going to be joining us in just a couple of minutes. We always start off with the important news. And then the rest of the program is a little bit of a mixing bag of things such as updates from the Uniters. We have a few amazing contributors that bring everything from health and wellness to mindset. And we're going to have Dr. Sherry Eshraghi here today. She's going to be talking about some pretty cool stuff that I believe is very relevant to what's happening right now in the revolution. And then I actually have my mom, Mayin Hushman. She's going to be giving a little bit of a lip service to mullahs. You're going to have to tune in later on to see what that's all about. And then we're going to bring Paris Mansouri back because she's going to go ahead and share some interesting historical and cultural information about Iran. And without any further ado, actually before I actually introduce the lovely Paris Mansouri, which by the way, she's coming right now under the most extreme freezing conditions. Her power is out in Montreal and she's literally going to be doing her segment out of her car. So you got to show her a lot of love for the devotion that she has for this program, that even in icy conditions, literally she showed me videos of her entire car all iced up. The only place that has some kind of power is inside of her car. And she's got the power too, you know, Major Shirzan. And I'm just grateful for what she's about to bring to this segment, given the conditions. And so we're looking forward to it. So make some noise for Paris, for no matter rain or shine or freezing rain, she's going to show up here on Wednesday nights and give it to you straight with all the latest, I wish I could say greatest, but latest news. Hi, Shada Jun. Just have to always give a shout out to Shada Kosari from Signs Are Us, courtesy of this beautiful backdrop that we always get to share, and a lot of great things that she's always supporting here in South Florida. So make sure you give a shout out and follow Shahla and always support her business, Signs Are Us. I have some really exciting news before I introduce Paris Jun to the program. May 6th, Saturday, May 6th, if you're in South Florida, you have to mark your calendar. It's going to be a great program. You might have heard of Chelsea Hart. I will let you know, in case you don't know, that that's one of the loudest voices that are non-Iranians speaking in support of our people since day one of the revolution. What about May 6th? What about Chelsea Hart? Well, guess what? Unite and Conquer is going to be hosting a work in progress, which is essentially Chelsea's like warm-up to the play that she's going to be performing in a few months at Edinburgh Fringe in Scotland. It's called Damishgan. And so she's going to be coming here. They're going to be coming here doing a nice little 1-hour program in South Beach, Miami. And more details is going to be coming. And we're going to be having a great program on Saturday, May 6th. It's going to be officially announced in a couple of days. We're going to go ahead and I'm sorry if I'm getting distracted real quick, it's because I'm reading the notification here. Poor Paris is having a difficult time connecting to the live, which if this is the case, and by the way, this is what happens with live TV, okay? If this is the case, I would like to kind of move up Monajun so we can buy some time. So while I'm giving the rest of the intro and while hopefully Paris is trying to connect, and perhaps Paris should maybe just turn off your phone, restart it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, you're going to be able to connect. But yeah, so in the meantime, Monajun, please go ahead and try to request to join so we can get you going, and that'll buy some time. And I'll see if we can get maybe Sherry June, maybe our producers can go ahead and message Sherry. Let's kind of bump up everybody, guys. It's okay. This is what happens. Technical difficulties. Our goal is to make sure that Paris gets to this thing at some point. So let's just move everybody up. I'll let the team behind the scenes message. I see Mona coming up. Okay, great. So Mona's here. We're going to kind of just move the rotation a little bit. But yeah, so Chelsea Hart, May 6th, is going to be here in Miami, live. Cannot wait to see them in action. Chelsea's very excited to come to Miami. So I hope you are as well. More details to come. And before I forget, next Wednesday's guest is going to be Arash Roshan. Arash is an Iranian-American software engineer and the founder of the educational platform Oso.engineer. He recently, however, has been making content about the ongoing events in Iran, usually in a very satirical format. I'm sure that you've seen the content. It's been pretty cool. And so he's got like, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok. Really impressive, entertaining content, which is also impactful. So Arash is going to be joining us next Wednesday. Thank you in advance. We have a great guest for April 19th too, but I'll tell you about that next week. I see Paris is actually connected, so let's just go ahead and try Paris. And hopefully when Paris comes, we will connect properly. Cross your virtual fingers, please, and put your virtual hands together for Paris Mansouri. Let's try a second finger. Maybe not. Nothing better than awkward silences on live TV. Let me just make sure I press it. I'll try it again. Thank you, Negin Jun. I appreciate it. Thank you, Amian. Appreciate you too. I'm loving the cross fingers. Maybe even drop a little bit of green, white, and red heart so that we can think about Iran. So I'm going to try one more second. Thank you, Elijah, for your understanding and patience. I'm going to press the accept one more time. And don't y'all worry, because Mona is going to come. Okay, it says Paris cannot join. Okay, Mona Jun, go ahead and try to come. Let's go ahead and let's have you come on board. And then we'll have Shala Jun. And then we'll have my mom. And then hopefully by then, Paris will have it figured out. So, uno momento, por favor. That means one moment, please, in Miamian or Spanish. People in Miami to get that joke, I think. Well, we got Paris's mom joining, so maybe Paris's mom is going to be giving us a little bit of a boost here. But let's go ahead and bring Mona. All right. Kamyar Jan, Ali Jan, Durud. Great to see you guys. All right, here we got Mona. Mona to the rescue.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Yeah. I was having this empty room and it was awkward, but here you come and I no longer feel lonely.
Aw, I feel bad for Paris though.
I know, especially because like literally 15 minutes ago she was FaceTiming inside the car and like showing me like everywhere frozen. She was literally like in an igloo. And but you know, we'll see what happens. She's got time. The program is 1 hour long. And sometimes you just got to keep the best for the end, you know? So no problem. Although we do have, I know, I really screwed that one up, didn't I?
Okay.
Yeah. So but basically, this is as rough of a start that I'm going to be able to get on. But it's all good, you know? It can't always be smooth sailing. So Monojon, what was smooth was the choreography that you ran last week. Tell us all about what you did on Caesar Bidar here in South Florida alongside some amazing women and gentlemen.
So I have to give a shout out to my sister from another mister, Sadeh Sayed Kazemi, because it was all her idea. Although she couldn't make it to the dance, it was her idea. Love her so much. Thank you, Sadeh Jun.
Can you bring the camera down a little bit so that we have a little bit of there's a little too much. There we go. Okay, go ahead.
She had the idea of us dancing to countdown to Calm Down by Selena Gomez and Rima.
Yeah.
And
I've heard this song actually.
Yeah, a few times, right? So we did that in support of the Ekbatan girls who danced this dance, as I mentioned last time, and they were arrested and they had to make a false confession, and it was a mess. And so everybody in the world is dancing this dance for them. And so we did that, and I did it with a bunch of Uniters, which honestly, I'm so proud because I didn't expect so many people to show up to the dance and have practiced and do such a good job. They were amazing. And we just went over it a couple of times and then did it, and it was perfect. It was beautiful. I'm so proud. It was Zara, my sister, Shala, Ellie, Sam, Sherry, Yossi, my niece Olivia, and a few more other people. It was beautiful. Very, very nice. Thank you, Sarajun.
Yeah, and then the cinematographer, I believe, who was that? The person that filmed it and made it all amazing. Who was that?
That was you.
Oh, I totally forgot. Yes, you're right. I do recall. No, but it was a great job. I want to congratulate everybody and thank you for making it happen. You know, everybody always has great ideas, but somebody has to go out and actually get shit done, and you always do. And of course, Sarajun always does as well. She couldn't make it to this Caesar, and just in general, it was great to have so many of the Uniters together in one place celebrating Caesar Bedar as best as we could, given what's going on. So it was great. I appreciate what you did. And our next event is going to be May 6th, which we're going to try to make sure that you try to somehow make it. But I know you're a little annoyed, but it is Chelsea Hart coming in here. And what are your thoughts about Chelsea and all she's been doing in the revolution the past 7 months?
I am a huge fan, and I am so proud because we need more non-Iranians to speak out the way she's done. I talk about her to everybody I find, and I was talking about her, or about them, I'm sorry, to people at work today, and I'm just so proud, and I would love to meet her and just talk to, sorry, my apologies. I would love to talk to them and get to know them better, and just
and thank
learn,
them.
Yeah,
thank
and
them.
what motivates them for doing all this, because there's nothing that they don't need to do this, you know. So I'm just honored to be in her presence. If I can be, that would be great.
Well, that's Friday night. I know you might not be there on Saturday. Mona is literally thinking about changing her entire trip to be here to help out with this program. And if you're tuning in late, Chelsea Hart on May 6th is coming to Miami. So South Florida gets to see Chelsea in flesh, in action. They're bringing a work in progress of their upcoming Edinburgh Fringe Comedy Hour, Dammit Gam. And the show basically draws on inspiration from the ongoing Iranian Revolution and what Chelsea has kind of shared. There's also a lot of like personal storytelling that's going to go on, and you know, Chelsea has been very open about their mental health challenges. So I have no doubt that somebody as intelligent and informed and just so passionate and so loving and caring is going to really intertwine a little bit of everything: personal struggles, personal challenges, Iran's revolutions, Iran's challenges, unity amongst Iranians, and you know, Chelsea just has the ability to really just project so much love and sincerity, even though there's always some people that are unfortunately giving unnecessary hate, you know. And so I'm just grateful that we're making this collaboration happen. Such a humble individual, and is just basically coming here to kind of fine tune the craft so that they can do a great performance in August in this Fringe Comedy Hour, which I don't know if anyone knows what this Edinburgh Fringe is, but I'm getting educated on it. And it's like the ultra music festival for comedians, you know, where like all around the world they go there, and if they have the opportunity to perform at like on a nice stage, it's like an honor of a lifetime. So they're choosing a set that they created about Iran's revolution to go and use that stage, you know. So I mean, it's really amazing, and I'm very proud of what Chelsea's been doing. And Monojun, in some shape or form, we're gonna have you a part of this program, you know.
I can't wait. I'm a huge fan, so I'm very grateful. Thank you,
Awesome.
Iman.
Well, once again,
thank you. Although you didn't do the dance, I forgive you.
Trust me, I did everybody a favor by not busting a move, as Sarah likes to say. I was like, you know what? Let me do my best and just film it so that at least the beautiful dances and the hard work was captured nicely. And it was on a beautiful day in TY Park in South Florida. So. Mona, I really appreciate you doing that. It's awesome. You know, you're always somebody that we can rely on to just do something for our people. So appreciate you, and hopefully you'll be a part of the weekend with Chelsea Hart on weekend of May 5th, 6th, and 7th. So without any further ado, Mona Jun, good night. See you. Peace out.
Bye.
All right. So here we go. Let's try Paris. She's trying to connect again. This is going to be another attempt of getting the amazing Paris Mansouri involved. So I'm going to give it. Oh, there it is. Can this be it? Parachute,
Hello?
I can see you. I mean, I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Oh my God, is this really happening?
Oh
Can you
no.
see me now?
Oh, there
Oh
you
my
go.
God,
Oh,
I'm so excited.
there.
Hi. Okay, so I have been driving around. I'm in a strip mall right now. I'm not kidding.
Thank
The
God you said
connection,
strip
like
mall.
literally my seatbelt is still on. It's nuts. I got stopped by the police officer because he's like, "It's you're not supposed to be on the road. All the street lights are out." And I'm at a strip mall. I was hoping that they would be on a generator that I'd be able to like hook up to like a public Wi-Fi. I don't know how long this is gonna last, but yeah, it is
This is
insane.
this
Like
is
I don't
this.
know if I could show you guys, but like it is Deadsville.
Oh,
Like you get there's like literally I'm gonna open the window. Hopefully no you guys can't see a thing. This is a huge strip mall and there's nobody here. Like
oh my God. Listen, first of all, I want to make sure you're in a safe area. Okay. So
parking lot.
th-
I'm gonna take off my
that doesn't give me much comfort, to be honest with you.
well listen, if something happens, it'll be
I mean,
live. Send help.
if you like, you can just kind of keep on driving. We get somebody else on. No, but I mean that serious, right? We really appreciate what you're doing. But are you in a comfortable area, you think?
I am. I'm fine. And the only thing is, let's just do it before another cop comes back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just go before
Well,
another cop comes back.
all right. Well, let's definitely jump right into it. We are on day. First of all, everybody over here needs to show Paris some major love. I mean, she's really going above and beyond right now to make this happen. And so, pardon any kind of issues with regards to technical aspect, but make sure your lights are on and all that good stuff. I mean, like your car lights. Okay.
They are. And the other thing is, I have to apologize. I know it's unprofessional to hold the phone. I had it like all set up so like that it's not
If
working.
anybody thinks this is unprofessional, they can kiss my ass, okay? And that's me being very honest here. Okay, so we're on day 198. Today was Hamid Reza Ruhi's 20th birthday, and it seems like protesters are back on the streets. First of all, it was amazing seeing all these videos. Tell us more about it, please.
Yes, so it's the IRGC forces are back at it. There were people who came out on the streets protesting and also just showing love and support for him. There's a song Off that's become really popular and synonymous with him. There was a video that went viral of him singing it. And for individuals who are triggered by violence and those violent imageries of the first few days of the revolution, they are definitely back, unfortunately, full force. Again, today were another day of protests. IRGC officials and plainclothes officials were out in full force onto the street. So let's see what tomorrow brings.
Awesome. Okay, and so moving on to the next topic. I apologize. I was trying to message.
Yeah, we're trying about the JCPOA.
Yeah, so there's some rumblings that the JCPOA is like once again kind of like coming back on the table. Please tell me it's a lie. Tell me something.
It is not a lie, unfortunately. So the JCPOA is a joint comprehensive partnership. Basically, it's the nuclear plan that's going to save the Islamic regime, and it has been on hold. Protesters who have been, out on the streets and in the diaspora, we've been advocating for an end to the JCPOA deal. It was basically paused for a while, but then rumors a couple of months ago, and I even mentioned it, that, there was talks going on behind the scenes, and a lot of people were saying it's unsubstantiated, but now turns out they are substantiated. So on Tuesday, Axios.com reported that back in January, if I'm looking down at my notes, my computer is down here. The Biden administration is basically putting it back on the table. This is basically, they want a partial agreement. It is not a full agreement like it was before. We don't have details of what the partial agreement entails, but basically it just means money to the Islamic regime. So the report goes on to say that the US confirmed the efforts to Israel, the UK, France, and Germany in February. The proposal would include some sanction reliefs, which we are saying, please sanction the Islamic regime, but the United States Biden administration is saying, no, let's give him sanction relief in exchange for appeasement on.
It's like we've been playing a game with the U.S. administration. We asked for somebody to help our people, and they've done exactly the opposite. It's like there's like a major disconnect.
Exactly.
It's as if they don't want the best interest of our people. It's as if.
Exactly. As if. I like your level of sarcasm today. So like I said, sanction relief for Tehran in exchange for, sorry, I think that was ICE, in exchange for freezing part of its nuclear program. The Foundation for Defense of Democracy, which is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization, basically says that the sanctions relief would mean $30 billion being released to the Islamic regime.
So enriching the child killing regime that we're trying to get rid of. Unbelievable. The Islamic regime's judiciary chief has given a warning to Iranian women. He says that they should be prosecuted without mercy for not wearing veils. What do we know about these threats, actually?
Yes, so the regime judiciary, Ghulam Hossein Mohsen Ejei, and he says, and I'm quoting here, the removal of the veil is tantamount to hostility towards our values. Those who commit such abnormal acts should be punished and prosecuted without mercy. So last Thursday, the regime's interior ministry described the headscarf as one of the civilizing foundations of the Iranian nation, and also appealed to Iranian citizens to confront unveiled women. Regarding the regime's crisis as well, they're saying that the government is fully aware that they're in a crisis situation, and they've gone on to list all the issues that they're currently contending with as a nation. But no, the prime target right now is the veil, and apparently it's the biggest issue our country is facing, is the veil and Iranian women.
Frustrating beyond words. What about Iran's education ministry? You okay?
Yeah, I'm just like, it's completely black now. I don't know what happened. More street lights went out. So.
You want to pause? You want to pause and you can move around?
No, I'll drive. After this segment, I'll drive around some more and hopefully find someplace else where I can record.
You're being such a trooper right now. I mean, like, honestly, like, us Iranians, we're very grateful to have somebody like you. Like, this is pretty amazing. Appreciate you.
I couldn't bail. I couldn't bail. The show goes on.
Iran's education ministry says that they won't provide schooling to hijab rule breakers. How are they targeting women this time?
So basically, their official statement is very Taliban-esque. It's actually pretty concerning. So they're not saying that women can't go to school, but they're saying that it's no longer going to provide educational services to students in schools and university who don't abide by the hijab codes, the dress rules, and basically wearing the headscarf. So basically, if you don't wear the hijab, you have no right to an education. Their goal, they say, is to create a quote-unquote positive and constructive discourse among students on the issue of Islamic culture and beliefs, and they want to create inner vitality and creating a correct and positive attitude towards beautiful thinking about the culture of chastity and hijab among students. Please make me stop.
You know, like the young students, the females, you know, they unfortunately, they're too young to understand or to know better. It is the world that they lived in for the last 10, 15 years. What's disappointing is that their mothers and older aunts that have gone through this for 45 years, that they're like, I don't want to say they're all standing on the aisle and doing nothing, but it's just like, my goodness gracious, like how they need to all really like get band together and make a lot of noise and make some kind of impact immediately, because they're going to continue to oppress our young children, and it's crazy to me. I just don't get it. We're here.
To anyone joining right now, by the way, I'm seeing all the comments. Thank you for all the kind words. But in case you're wondering why I'm in like a black environment, I'm in Montreal. 370,000 people are without power right now. And literally I'm in the parking lot of a strip mall, and I thought there would be generators here, and there are none. There's no street lights even. So please bear with me as we do it in the car. Apologies.
Let's talk about what's going on with more school poisonings.
Yes. So the girls who are going to school, who are observing hijab, who are following all the rules, are getting poisoned. Yesterday, we heard of 20 schoolgirls being targeted and hospitalized in Tabriz, and this makes it 225 reported cases of basically gassing in schools since November. 225, you guys, 225 instances of schoolgirls getting gassed. Moving on.
A second Iranian Revolutionary Guard advisor has died after an attack near Damascus in Syria. What do you know about him and his story?
Yes, so this was reported, and actually it was claimed by Israel. His name is Mekdad Mehgani Jafarabadi. He served as a military advisor in Syria. The Islamic regime says the Syrian government has invited the IRGC to basically play an advisory role in their war. So yeah, he served as a military advisor, and Reuters quotes the Islamic regime saying that he was officially serving an advisory role. The airstrike by Israel is the 6th such attack in Syria, and it's just the 2nd time that they have killed an Islamic regime military commander. And the Islamic regime says that it is reserving the right to retaliate.
They always find a reason to justify their terrorist activities.
Mm-hmm.
7 Canadian members of parliament traveled to Albania to attend an MEK event last year. It was a paid trip by a Canadian MEK organization, the Iran Democratic Association. How is it legal for politicians to accept gifts?
This is a loophole, Iman Jum. So it's not legal for politicians to accept gifts, but trips funded by the MEK, no, that's totally okay. So there were 7 members, like you mentioned, from 3 different political parties. This is according to the Globe and Mail. The article was just published last week, but this is a story about last year. Essentially, organizations have to publicize and put forward their numbers, and that's how they found out about this. So definitely 7 members of parliament have been caught. They have acknowledged going. The Globe and Mail has tried to reach out to, sorry, I think this is a police vehicle. No, it's not a police vehicle. So sorry, I thought I was being told to leave again. Excuse me. The Globe and Mail has reached out to these members of parliament. None of them answered except for Melissa Lantsman. She's actually been a very vocal supporter of the Islamic Revolution, the Iranian Revolution, and the Iranian people. And her office has commented, the Globe and Mail quotes her as saying that she's been an advocate of a free Iran and believes only the people of Iran will choose its own future. And she's also met with other groups fighting for the cause of a free Iran. So basically, she's defending her position of meeting with MEK by saying that she's meeting with everyone who's advocating for a free Iran.
Canada and all of its shenanigans from top to the bottom.
This is why I don't know if it was you who shared it, but Pierre Poilievre, who's the leader of the Conservative Party, who's the opposition to Justin Trudeau here in Canada. In Canada, if you're not aware, we don't have just 2 parties. We have multi-parties, and they all have seats in our parliament. And so the elections are coming up in a while, and the Conservative Party is really vying for that Iranian vote and really coming out hard against the Liberal Party, as so it would seem in the parliament, but as you guys can see behind the scenes, they are, heading over and hanging out with MEK.
One of the same. Updates about protesters and detainees. And by the way, if Sherry June is watching, please go ahead and request to join. We're almost finished with this particular segment, so make sure you do that. Updates about protesters and detainees, please.
Yes. So there were 2 Afghan protesters who've been accused of bombings. They will be publicly executed. It is a terrible story. There was Fatima Sepehi, who got her sentence last week, which I believe bears mentioning again. She's 59 years old. She's going to be serving an 18-year sentence for criticizing the regime. We have to remember Bahman Bahmani. He is on a hunger strike still. He's the gentleman who's been accused of killing Kian Pir Falak, whereas we know that it was the IRGC that killed him. And obviously, we mention his name every week. Jamshid Sharmat, he's a 67-year-old Iranian-German engineer who was abducted from Dubai, brought to face a sham trial in Iran, and also sentenced to death. We don't have an update on his status, but if you do want to find out what's happening with him, please follow his account. It's being active. Basically, it's the content being created is by his daughter. Free Jamshid Sharmat is that account, so please follow that. And obviously Reza Norouzi, any compatriot who comes out in support of Reza Pahlavi in Iran is definitely targeted. He's one of those, and he is under intense duress. So hashtag Reza Norouzi as well.
And let's go to action items this week. And what are the hashtags that we're following and should be using?
It's been thematic, hashtag IRGC terrorist, even though the Biden administration wants to negotiate and release $30 billion to them. Let's please keep on that. Obviously, save Sharmad, like we mentioned earlier, Tumaj Salehi, Saman Yassin, and we mention them every week, Elnaz Mohammadi and Nilufar Hamedi, who were the catalyst for us knowing the story of Jina Mahsa Amini, who has inspired this revolution.
Yeah, and actually, I believe today is is it 100th day of Too Much Salehi? So there's been a lot of videos being shared around with bringing attention to too much as well. So I might be wrong about 100 days, but I know there's something significant about today's date. And as always, a final message for our listeners before you come back, hopefully later on, to give a little bit of history, culture, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so we mentioned every week, our language in English is called Persian. Languages have names in every country, just like Persian in English, Farsi when we speak in Farsi, when we speak in French, we say Perse. So let's use the language, the name of our language in the language. Our language is now called Farsi in every languages of the world. Let's use the correct term in English, and it's Persian.
Awesome.
Let me not get arrested.
Thank you. Please go find a nice little warm area or lit area, and hopefully you'll be able to join us in about 15 minutes or so to talk about Iranian culture and history, highways, postal system, refrigeration, pretty fun stuff that you're going to talk about, one or two of them. So get safe first, and then hopefully we'll see you later on. Thank you so
I
much.
definitely want to come back on. I will look for a safe place, fingers crossed, but everyone should know that maternity leave existed in Iran 2,500 years ago. I'll tell you more.
Go have some putan, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right. And so up next, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to welcome one of our uniters, Dr. Sherry Eshraghi. She's a board-certified doctor in natural medicine with over 10 years experience. She's trained in approaching health and wellness holistically, taking into account the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. She's an expert on gut health and related chronic diseases and has published many peer-reviewed scientific articles on the topic of microbiome, nutrition, autism, and epigenetics. And of course, she's been supporting Unite and Conquer and raising the voice of Iranian people. And we greatly appreciate her being here. She's going to be talking about what is constructive resilience. If you've never heard of what constructive resilience is, this lovely lady is about to break it down for you in 3, 2, 1. And here she is.
Oh, I'm all down here.
Hi, Sherry June.
Hi.
So great to see you.
It's good. Yeah, good to see you.
It was wonderful seeing you at Sisabida and meeting little Ginger.
Oh yeah, she's a pain in the butt.
I'm sure.
Because I have to potty train her, so I have to be vigilant. Even doing this now, I'm like looking over there. Is she going somewhere? I gotta watch.
I want you to assume that she did the deed and accept it and move on.
That's what I keep saying to myself. Like, so what? Let her do her business. Luckily, she does it on the training pads, and it smells awful. But
you knew what you were getting into.
Exactly.
At least she's got a face of an angel, you know.
It is super cute. Yeah.
All right,
that's
so
what got me. So
last week we were talking, and I appreciate you reaching out and wanting to, be more involved and seeing how you could contribute. And I mean, you've already done so much in the last 6-7 months, being a part of our organization and doing whatever we could. But there was one particular topic that you gave me a little bit of a Cliff Notes version, and it was constructive resilience. And I was like, I want to talk about that more. So I'm sure 99% of people don't know what constructive resilience is. So can you break it down, please?
Yeah, I keep reflecting, like all of us, all the time, what's happening in Iran and how it's going to happen. And thinking back the last 6 months, we've heard so many awful news about the executions, the unjust imprisonments, the injuries, the killings. All these we've heard, and it has brought us really, really down. But on the other side, on the upside, you can observe that something beautiful has come out too, which is the power of the human spirit that has just taken over so many people in Iran. So constructive resilience, as it says, is something that resists something but also builds something. So it is resisting but also building towards something. So historically, we can think about, for example, Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, Martin Luther King. These are figures that have been resilient and standing up for integrity and truth and justice with everything they had. And ultimately, they did even succeed, even though it took a long, long, long time. But they never wavered. They never gave in. They never followed the crowd. They stood behind what is right and what is just, and ultimately they won. So if we now look at Iran, heroes like that are just popping up everywhere. I mean, I'm so impressed with the courage that these people are showing. There's some who've been in that game longer, such as, for example, Nasreen Sotoudeh. I don't know if you heard about her.
The human rights.
Yeah, the human rights lawyer who's been several times imprisoned unjustly for standing up. And there's actually a documentary on her that I would recommend to read. So besides her, also since the past 45 years from the beginning of the revolution in 1979 until now, Baha'is have shown constructive resilience because they've been captured, they've been detained, and in many cases they just needed to recant their faith. They were literally told, either you recant your faith and become Muslim, or you will die. And somehow they understood that this is the wrongest thing you can do. You should not give in the principles into giving forced confessions or doing something wrong. And they endured for a long, long time. So I think it's fascinating that there is also a difference between resistance and resilience. So we see a lot of people resisting by just taking off their hijab, by dancing in the street and singing, walking their dog, just going against these absurd laws that should be completely natural. This is called resistance. We have, even outside of Iran now, for example, Wahid Beheshti in England, who's on his 40th day of hunger strike. I mean, amazing. He could live easily. He's free. He's in a free country. He could just, not do it. But he goes that far to go 40 days on a hunger strike. And the last one I want to keep for my favorite is Toomaj Salehi, the Persian rapper, who is, in my view, is one of the biggest heroes right now, and she will go into history. So just because of his lyrics, just his using his talent, his smarts, just for making music, he's now known all over the world. I mean, at least in most of the people. I had never heard of him before. It's the first time I heard about him. And what he did is so much more powerful, is so much stronger than what all these cowards with their guns and violence are doing. So basically, those cowards, I call them cowards, who use violence and guns against these people who stand up for their basic rights, they have lost. They actually have already lost. Toomaj, no matter what happens to Toomaj, he's been, what you were saying, he's been in prison for 55 days in solitary confinement. So even though he's going through this horrendous suffering, he has won. And it comes down to that when you use constructive resilience, it leads to results at the end.
Well, there was some constructive resilience with the Ekpadan girls, and you were part of the group that performed at Sizabedar and part of that video. So I congratulate you for having that type of constructive resilience. What can we develop, or how can we develop constructive resilience?
That's a good question. I think being mindful always to think about, is this the right thing? Is it in compliance with integrity or not, whatever we do? I mean, it can happen. We all have really different lives, but nobody has an easy life. Nobody really has a breeze through life, if you think about it. So all the difficulties we get is there to teach us something. But if we choose every time our values, principles, and integrity and stand up for it in a non-violent, non-destructive way, because that's important, that's what it is, then in the end we will see results. It's like what I'm saying, it takes a long time too, is when you, for example, axe a tree and the tree falls, it makes a huge noise, right? It just falls and makes a huge noise. But if you have a seed that is growing, that's very quiet and is slow. But in the end, so that means that when you grow something, it's quiet and slow, but when you destruct, it is loud. So what they're doing right now in Iran, and what we should all continue doing, is this constructive resilience every day, every week, every month, no matter how long it takes, just not give up. It's always just not giving up, no matter how little it is.
In closing, why is it important, this constructive resilience?
Because, for example, as a practitioner of preventative healthcare, I've always focused on symptoms. I never ignore symptoms, and I always recommend to my clients, do not wait too long when you have any symptoms like a migraine or belly ache or anything, and you wait too long, or just silence the symptoms with drugs. Eventually, 1 or 2 years after that, you're going to have acute disease. The same thing is happening in our personal lives, whether we're at work, whether we're at home, or with any community. If we see something that's wrong, that is toxic, and we ignore it or we just hush it, sooner or later, it'll come like an avalanche, and stopping it is going to be more and more difficult. So always being mindful about integrity and truthfulness in our lives and standing up for justice anywhere, I think is important for you as a person to respect yourself and to contribute to society in a way.
Perfectly stated, Sherjan. I appreciate you taking a few minutes of your evening and talking about constructive resilience. And I think that you're going to get some people that are going to really think about these things a little bit more, and hopefully inspire them to keep all these things in mind. So thank you so much for making time.
That. Yeah. Thank you.
Looking forward to having you in more segments in the future. I appreciate you joining the Countdown contributors team. So thank you so much.
I love your commitment and Pari's commitment, everybody's commitment. Really, really inspiring.
It's all team,
and keep it up.
It's all teamwork, and we're grateful to have you a part of it. So Shab Khair, say hi to Ginger.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the next portion of tonight's episode. If you're just tuning in, or it's the first time you're tuning in, this is Countdown to Freedom in Iran, episode number 14. We do this every single Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. I want to give a shout out to Shiva Sabir, who's the producer of this evening. She's been working so hard the last few weeks producing it. Up next, it's somebody that I've known my entire life. Her name is Mayan Hushman, also happens to be my mother. She is somebody that loves to integrate poetry. She's an officiant at Persian weddings, and she's also an esthetician, and she's a freedom fighter. Right, Mayan Jun? درود بر شما.
درود بر شما و بینندگان عزیزتان. امشب من صحبتی دارم با یکی از آقایان ملاها. صحبت زیاد شده، مطمئناً همه حرف زدن و میزنن، تکرار شده، ولی ضایعی که این جماعت به ایران و ایرانی زدند، لازم میدونم که باز هم ما بگوییم و بگوییم و بگوییم تا آزادی ایران و هرگز فراموش نکنیم که این جماعت بر ما چه کردن. به نام اهورامزدا، من یک بانوی ایرانی هستم. به من بگو تو چه هستی؟ دختران وطن من جامعه سپید می پوشند، به رنگ نور، به رنگ روشنایی، به رنگ قلبشان، به رنگ کردارشان، به رنگ گفتارشان، به رنگ سپیدی برفهای کوه دماوند. حال به من بگو تو چه می پوشی؟ جامعه سیاه بر تن داری، به رنگ قلبت، به رنگ کردارت، به رنگ گفتارت. ما درخت هستیم، ریشه داریم. اما تو برگ خزانی میریزی. شما شیخان گمراه بیدین، فرزندان ایران با شاهنامه فردوسی بزرگ شدند. ما حافظ داریم، ما مولانا داریم، ما سعدی داریم، ما زرتشت داریم، ما پیرو افکار زرتشت هستیم. کردار نیک، گفتار نیک، پندار نیک. دانی از کجا دختران ما این چنین شجاعانه و دلیرانه در مقابل شما قد علم کردند؟ دانی چرا؟ دختران ما رهرو پانتئا هستند، فرمانده ارتش شاهنشاهی ایران. دختران ما رهرو آرتمیس هستند، فرمانده نیروی دریایی ایران. پسران دلیر ما رهرو کاوه آهنگرند، بابک خرمدی، کمبوجیه، آریوبرزن و هزاران سردار دلیر ایرانی که جانشان را برای خاک ایران از دست دادند. شما توانستید چهارشنبه سوری را از ما بگیرید، نوروز را بگیرید، 13 بدر را بگیرید، مهرگان را بگیرید، شب یلدا را بگیرید؟ نتوانستید. ما شب یلدا تا صبح بیدار نشستیم و رقصیدیم و آواز خوندیم و شادی کردیم تا روشنایی ما ظلمت شما را بپوشاند و غلبه کند. ایرانیان شادی را دوست دارند، موزیک را دوست دارند، موسیقی را دوست دارند. ما باربد و نکیسا را دوست داریم و شما ناله و زاری و مویه می کنید. ما دوست نداریم، ما تنفر داریم. شما گل به سر بزنید، زنجیر به سر بزنید، گریه کنید، ولی بروید. آب زلال نکبت و کثافت وجود شما را نمیتواند بشوید. پلیدی شما خون میخواهد. خون هم دادی. مهسا خون داد، دوستانش خون دادند و کماکان میدهند. ولی شما ضحاک زمانه هستید. ضحاک هم مارهای روی دوشش از خون جوانان ایرانی تغذیه شد، ولی 2 جوان ایرانی با ذکاوت و درایت خودشان ضحاک را به پایین آوردند. حال خواهیم دید که جوانان ما با دست خالی شما را از مملکت خودشان بیرون خواهند کرد. بروید. شما روی سردارهای صدر اسلام را سپید کردید. سردار اسلام آمد به ایران، به بانوان ما تجاوز کرد، شوهرانشان را کشت، اموالشان را گرفت، فرهنگ ما را ربود. حال شما بعد از 1400 سال آمده اید، دختران ما را میگیرید، تجاوز میکنید، قطعه میکنید و قطعاتش را به پدر و مادر نمیدهید. شما از کجا آمده اید؟ بروید جوانان ما را راحت بگذارید ایران ما را آزاد کنید. بروید. 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 یا
That was beautiful.
این دو.
I don't have the words to properly segue out of this, but I feel like a lot of people, they resonate with what you're saying, and we hope that these mullahs heard you from 7,000 miles away, and they leave. They leave.
Yeah.
They leave. باشه، خیلی ممنون که اومدی و این برنامه رو تو شرکت کردی, and hopefully we'll see you at more of these programs so you can share with us some more poetry and powerful messages like this.
شادی.
زن، زندگی، آزادی. Good night. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, as my mom is going to leave this chat, we're going to bring back Paris June. Hopefully, the connectivity is there. And we're going to be having Paris talk about Iranian culture and history. Let's make sure that my mom leaves. And there she's leaving. And here cometh Paris Mansouri. Hi, Paris.
Did it work?
Yes. I see you. It's just we're waiting for my mom to disconnect. So it's like in process. I don't know what you guys see, but I see this little turning point. But go ahead and start telling us about what you want to talk about. We have about 5 minutes to kind of go over one of your main points.
Amazing. Excuse me. So for anyone who's not aware, I'm in Montreal. We're in the middle of a power outage, and there's 370,000 people now without any electricity, including establishments. So Starbucks, restaurants, all of them, they're completely out of power. I cannot connect to anything, and I'm literally parked on the side of the road right now. So my apologies for the unprofessional setting and the car lighting, but the show is going on. This segment, we really wanted to talk about Iranian culture and history. I was listening to what your mom was saying, and I understand anyone who is not aware of Iranian history and how historically we are not an Islamic nation. We don't have anything against individuals who are Muslim, who practice Islam. You should, if anything, the founder of our nation, Cyrus, believed in allowing everyone to practice freely as they wish. So there is no Islamophobia. Muslims, people of all faiths, should be allowed to practice freely. But Iranians who are interested, if you listen to what Mahinjun was saying, was reciting and talking about Iranian women and being free of basically the clasps that have been on them for 1400 years, I highly suggest you go read about the Umayyad Caliphate. The Umayyad Caliphate is the caliphate that took over in 650, 651. That's when basically our nation was invaded by Arab Muslims. Look at what happened to us for 200 years and just understand the root of it. You can practice whatever religion you want. That's not the conversation. The conversation is just about what happened to our country in those 200 years, 250 years until the Abbasid Caliphate. So I think you'll be surprised, and perhaps you'll understand where the anger comes from. So first topics, Imanjun, I laid out the topics. So the first one is highways.
Go ahead.
Do you know where the first ever highway was?
I guess it was in Germany, huh? It wasn't the Autobahn?
It wasn't. So here's the thing. There are roadways in ancient countries everywhere. Obviously, China, India, Greece, Turkey. These are ancient civilizations that have contributed an incredible amount to society and to modern civilization. However, highways, the first concept of a road linking many cities and linking many countries, is rooted in basically Iran under Darius the First. 5th century BC. Part of it still stands to this day. It is the Diyarbakir Bridge in Turkey. Guys, it dates back to the Royal Road. That's what the first highway in the world was ever called. It was called the Royal Road. It started over in Greece and went all the way to Susa, in where was the Persian Empire at that point in time. So like the Mediterranean all the way through. And obviously it's a highway. You couldn't travel it like you can now. It took months to go from one end to the other. However, it was possible under Darius's rule.
I love it. Keep on going.
The next one is postal system. So the postal system in the United States, the USPS, Imanjun, do you know what the motto of the USPS is? It's
We
written
always
in,
we
if you
always
go to
we
any,
always lose your packages.
oh no, the motto, if you go, if okay, you guys who are in the States, if you go to a USPS office, next time you're there, take a photo and be proud. If you are Iranian, be proud, because the motto you're going to read is the same motto that dates back 2,500 years. The motto is, neither snow nor rain, nor heat, nor gloom of night stays these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds. And that is literally the motto that comes from the motto that the ancient Persians had for basically their fleet that were running these courier and these letters. So literally, if you as an American are next to a USPS post office, be proud that basically your roots have transcended across the world. And if you have American friends, let them know as well.
First of all, that's the longest motto ever, but that is very cool if it's connected to the Iranian or the Persian stuff. But I still want to know what happened to my battery pack that's got lost in the mail. I mean, this is really upsetting me right now.
I'm so sorry. That I can't help with.
Let's talk about refrigeration, because nobody likes to have their food go spoiled, but it seems like the Persians came to the rescue.
Yes, the concept of yakhchal, which is how we say refrigerator in Persian, is actually rooted. And if you actually search it, I mean, I'm not a scientist, so I won't be able to explain it to you, but essentially it's like an upside down cone. And they were able to keep ice in the desert, you guys, ice in the desert. And it basically, the concept roots from us. If you go look up yakhchal, ancient refrigeration, you're going to actually see the dome, and you're going to see the explanation for it. So refrigeration also dates back to us. I'm turning into that auntie or like that grandparent that says, "Inam Iraniya ha, inam az Iran miyad," but these are actual facts. You can look it up.
As Mona is saying right here, you don't need refrigeration if you live in Montreal, apparently, right? So
Yeah, you don't need it right now, you guys. Like literally, yeah, it is it's not an ice storm, but it is freezing rain. So
you,
we're frozen literally, and it's
you
actually getting cold in the
oh
car.
no, we're gonna get you out of here very soon. But before you left your previous segment, you quickly dropped the whole line about maternity leave, equal pay. Can you just repeat that part so people can be educated?
Yes. So there are nations to this day that are fighting for equal pay and that are fighting for maternity leave. Certain countries, like, in Europe and in Canada, we enjoy a year. But I just want you guys to know that in Iran, 2,500 years ago, this was a concept that existed. This is not, and if you want to look up the facts, this is not an Iranian website saying it. Go to history.org and look it up. I'm going to look at the notes so you actually know. Pregnant women were receiving higher wages, as did new mothers, for the first month after their children were born. Literally, this was happening 2,500 years ago. And I just want to read another quote from history.org. It says, "Women labored alongside men in the workforce and were often supervisors and managers. Highly paid female supervisors were known as Arashara. They were known as great chief. This is women who are leading men. Okay, this is back 2,500 years ago. And they received larger sums and amounts of wine and grain for overseeing the work of larger groups of people." So equal pay for equal work existed in the Persian Empire and among Iranians 2,500 years ago, including the concept of maternity leave.
Trailblazers. Out of the last three you have on here, I want you to choose one because we're ending the program. So you choose your favorite.
No, I'm going to say them all really quick. And
Okay,
everyone can look him up. The concept of gardens existed everywhere, but the concept of Chahar Bagh, which is basically a rectangle, and Chahar Bagh is like 4 gardens. Basically, the concept is that you can build a garden to thrive even in the desert as long as the plants and the water interlive. And the Taj Mahal, if you look at the garden in front of it, it is a Chahar Bagh, which is incredible. Pants rooted in the Persian Empire. The Greeks didn't wear pants, but the Persians did because we're horseback riders, and they would chafe the legs. So the men would drape the fabric around their legs. So next time you're wearing pants, remember that it rooted in the Persian Empire. And finally, the G-Wagon. For those who don't know, the G-Wagon was basically a vehicle that was used for military. It was developed for the military, but on the suggestion of the Shah of Iran, it became a vehicle that was available to the public. In 1979, civilians were able to use it. So there you go.
And this is why so many Iranians love to get G-Wagons. So it makes complete
for free. We should get a discount, Iman.
All right. Well, listen, Paris, you under some severe conditions managed to put together two great segments for us. First, news and updates, and then segments about Iranian culture and history. Appreciate you. It's time for you to go get safe, get warm, get safe, get back home, take care of your family. And as always, thank you for everything you do for us.
Thank you so much. I'm going to DM you guys a picture of a broken tree that fell in front of my car as I was driving. It's been a ride. Thank you for tuning in. And again, I apologize for the bad lighting, but it is what it is.
Good night.
Bye.
Yo, Zadi, appreciate you. Oh, man. Listen, guys, above and beyond, it should be like the motto for Paris Mansouri, because she definitely went above and beyond tonight like she does as always. I want to take a moment and thank our guests this evening. They're not even guests, they're family. But Mona Hairi, Sherry Eshraghi, my mom, thank you so much for being a part of this thing. Once again, Shiva Sabri, thank you so much for producing tonight's program. In closing, friendly reminder to first of all, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Unite and Conquer. Go ahead and do that. Click subscribe. This is going to be uploaded on our YouTube channel. If you haven't followed Let's Unite and Conquer, please follow our Unite and Conquer Instagram page. And don't forget that next Wednesday, our guest is going to be Arash Roshan. I promise you, you've seen some of his funny satirical segments about Iran. He's got, I think, over 1 million followers on TikTok. He's been tearing it up. He's actually a software engineer. And next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, he's going to be our guest. So looking forward to having him. And if you haven't heard already, if you're in South Florida, Saturday, May 6th, the place to be is in Miami, because Chelsea Hart is coming to town. We're going to be doing a very unique program. It's called the Work in Progress, where Chelsea is going to be testing out the material that Chelsea will be performing at the Edinburgh French Comedy Hour in Edinburgh, Scotland, for her new comedy set called Dammit Garm, which the show draws an inspiration from the ongoing Iranian revolution, as well as some of her personal health and mental health challenges. So excited to have Chelsea in Miami, May 6th. Mark your calendars. Tickets will be going on sale in just a couple of days. And don't forget also that we love you and we appreciate you. And thank you for joining us every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. If you have suggestions for guests that you would like to have as part of Countdown, please message me. Please message Unite and Conquer, whoever you like. We'd love to hear from you. In closing, one help that I really, 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 really need. We have an amazing team, but we really need a very strong, experienced, passionate social media manager. Somebody that will be able to truly take the bull by the horns and say, hey, you know what? I have experience in social media. I love TikTok. I've grown Instagram pages. I've grown Facebook pages. I've grown YouTube channels. And if that's you, and you're passionate about what we're doing about Unite and Conquer with regards to being the voice of the Iranian people, we need you. We need somebody, we need a partner in crime that can literally help us grow the social media pages, so that instead of 20, 30, 40, 50 people at any given time, we have hundreds, if not thousands of people together, so we can make a true impact and we can unite our community globally. Us Iranian speaking or English speaking Iranians, we're still a very tiny community. We need to strengthen this community, and we can strengthen it through events and conversations and digital content. And guess what? That's what Unite and Conquer has been trying to do for technically 4 years, but really for 25 years is what I've been trying to do. I have a deep love and appreciation for our people, our culture, our history, and I'm surrounding myself with people that feel the same way. And we have people with different skill sets, talents, but you know, we're growing very quickly, but we need one social media manager that can just kind of take the wheel and take us to a place where we're seeing massive growth on social media. We have great editors, we have great content writers, we have great producers, directors, but we need somebody that kind of brings everybody together. So if you're that person, message me, please. We're doing interviews and we just want a volunteer that would love to dedicate about 5-10 hours a week on this social media stuff. So if that's you, message us. Thank you very much. See you next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. به امید آزادی زن زندگی آزادی. شب بخیر.